Hi, hope everybody's having a good day out there. I come to you again from very snowy Indiana, and I wanted to show another painting and get a little reasoning in. Got a couple things on my mind. So yeah, so this painting I'm gonna do from the perspective of somebody's eye, so kind of like this, you know. I love how the camera, you know, show off the angles, because in painting on a two-dimensional space, you know, it's all about angles. So we're gonna do it from a perspective kind of like this. So we're gonna start with the eye instead of the mouth this time. Again, thank you guys for all your support and motivation. I really appreciate the fellowship I've been getting on the internet here. I think that God's really got something going on, you know. Kind of funny to see how little bitty messages show so much about a person's spirit, you know. So I'm gonna start with the eyeball here. And at first, this is kind of a rough draft, you know. And actually, the things I got on my mind, I guess I'll just hop on into them. So I was called from a very different place than a lot of people. Um, when I called out to God, I really needed Him, and my grandma had taught me about, you know, church, and she had taught me about faith. She had always been a very holy woman, you know, and I mean a product of her generation. She had her different issues too. I mean, nobody's a superhero, really, except Jesus, you know. So I move on to the nose and hit this mouth here. Well, I was called from a different place. Um, when he heard me, I mean, I was about to be gone, and it's heartbreaking too, because I was younger than my son. I was just 9 years old, trying to end it all because of all the straight satanic stuff that had happened in my life, you know. And and when he called me to get healed from that and a lot of other stuff, you know. But that was like the low point. Like after that, no matter what I went through, as long as I really had him and not idea of religion, you know, not like I need my Lord that answers me. You know, I need my very living God. And there was no low point like that when I called him. That every moment since then has been up and up and up. And I mean, I called him when I was young. He started showing up. Shoot, it's like he's always been there, you know. Whether I paid attention to his voice, whether I paid attention, did what he wanted me to do, it's a matter of debate. I mean, even when I was a teenager, I'm still messing up. Even when I'm 30, you know, I still got situations that I could have handled better. I know I did them better than I would have when I was 19, but still, I see that I need progression. I need positive progression. But my point is, God called me from a place that, like, if anybody viewing, I bet you, saw me back then, you wouldn't have liked me. You wouldn't have talked to me. You wouldn't have known anything about me, because what I'm proud of now is not what I was proud of then. But that He changed me, and He didn't change me in a way that I look like somebody else or I act like somebody else, and He changed me in a way that I look like what I'm intended to be. You know, in Him, the things I'm intended to do, He set me up with the weapons and the tools to get fortifications of evil down. Like, these scripts are real, working in our lives, you know. Everywhere I've went since that first time, you know, keeps telling me I represent Him everywhere I go and everything I do, on and off the internet, near, far, and away. So here lately, and so yeah, so here lately, I've been really a lot more sensitive to things coming into my world, you know, because it's kind of taken me out of my life as it used to be and brought me into what he's making. And the whole time too, confirming that like this is what I've been talking about the whole time. This is why you went through this. This is why you went through this. This is why all this hardship that I faced, it's like I owe God something. So he called me from where I was at, and he was always mindful of me about things like cussing, because not because the cuss words, because people could say curses and not say cuss words. People do it all the time. They don't even think about it. You know? So to say somebody's acting like an ass, that's a little different than they actually be cursing people out here. You know? But I was only saying that to demonstrate. As I said in the other video, I think that I sounded like a dumb person when I cuss, and I'm ever on myself because it's where I come from. You know, I'm not gonna lie. When I was amongst them, that's how they talked. If I was to talk any different, I would have stood out in a way so that the message would not be received. I would have been like an other to them. Rather, I'd be an other to no, you know, like I couldn't. That would get in the way of the mission. They needed to hear it from me. I'm the one who was sent to that place. If God would have seen fit that someone else would have been sent to that place, he would have sent someone else. It is me, my particular shade, that was put there and is there to understand because I've been there. So don't be ashamed of where you're from. Don't be ashamed of what you've been through, and don't be surprised when people don't understand, because they're not going to understand. But trust that God has that goat in the bush for you. That God has that. You know, you gotta go. Try to refresh myself. Abraham and Isaac. You got to go to the mountain. He got called early in the morning to go to the mountain and sacrifice his son, a mountain far away. And God just showed him a picture of the mountain, said go, and man packed up his son and enough wood to burn his son and went, or enough and food, and went. And as he was going, God just gave him little tips. We're gonna go ahead and do a pirate hat because why not? I'm not very good at them. Maybe it's a good opportunity to get better. So as he was going, God just kept giving him like, over the next bend, you'll see this, you'll see this. And so it's completely an act of faith, you know. And then when he finally got there, put his son up on the thing, pulled up the knife, put his son up on the altar to burn him before God, and then pulled his knife to kill his only son. And then the angel of the Lord said, oh, stop. Hey, wait. Cut out what you're doing. Look at there. Right in the bush, there's already a ram packed up for you. And that story always resonates true, you know. It's still so. God isn't going to ask you to do something. Specifically you. Where you've been. What you've been doing. The specific shade of you that you are. He's not going to ask you to do something and not provide you provisions. Or at least provide you the situation that you can make that oil spread. I just want to say why I'm at this point again and again, like, thank you all for your support and putting your offerings of love out there to the universe and just dealing with all this craziness that's on this internet and being a different thing. Because man, some of us out here, and a lot more that the more I dig into it, the more I'm finding there's a lot of people who just don't leave their house. And so the things that they take in on the internet that y'all are making and that y'all are creating, and that these little shorts and things, that's what they're taking in. You know, for as shameful as that is. And even, I mean, I don't say shameful because it's like if they're not taking that in with God, you know, take everything with a grain of salt or whatnot. But honestly, there's people that are out here ain't got a whole lot going on. And they're the same ones that are coming into y'all's chat rooms saying the craziest things in the world. But I just think y'all, the ones that are conscious enough to see that those people that are coming in sick are looking for the healer, you know? And that never was you, huh? I could say all the awesome things I've done and seen. I was only empowered by God, you know. I only saw that thing by God. I was only looking that direction because of God. You understand? I was only in that place because of God. And it's a specific. Is He called me not to be changed by men, but to be changed by Him. So I am different. When I walk in a place, man, no, they feel it. They see it. People show respect. And if they don't, then they feel like they're going to get called out by the Spirit, because they are. My God is protective. And at the same time, He corrects me all the time. He always shows me how I'm messing up, make me feel like I'm just still one of the dirtiest things ever. And then just to like work on myself, and then turn around and put me in a situation to be like, this is what I've been working on with you. I'm glad that you got this, you know. Here's a soul change, you know. Here's a heart change because of your heart change, you know. I don't know. That's what I'm really into life for now, you know. I don't really care about like and all that on this YouTube. Just like I did with the Facebook, I just want to reach out, spread some kind of inspiration, because there's a whole lot of nonsense. But my message today, y'all called exactly where you are to do the job that you're supposed to do. And that goes for all this end of the world thing too. If this really is the end of the world, it doesn't matter to you. Because if you got faith, then you already know what's going to happen. And if you don't know, you should read in your Bible. Because it's all there, man. The same, there's people on there fear-mongering. So that's a pirate. There's people on here fear-mongering. There's all kinds of things. And Pharisees. There's people that think they're never wrong. Everybody else is wrong. They stand on every conviction besides. Anyways. And then there's uplifters. Alright, so I made something. Speaking of uplifters, I'm going to trust that Zay is going to see this some way, somehow. So you said I need some cover art, and so I started one, but I don't really like where it's going. I think I'm about to redo a part of it because it's kind of weird. But it was meant to be like a guy playing the record and then playing a video game kind of thing and shooting trolls in the forehead. But I think the troll is a little bit too close to the anyways. So that was going to be for Zay, but I'm probably going to restart it and do it again. I don't really like it, but I figured I'd throw that in there just for you to see, brother. I appreciate you letting people sit in and watch the recording process. That is a pretty darn cool thing. I really miss recording. I haven't had equipment for a while, but when I did, it was so cool to just turn it on and hit the mic. You know, I just loved, especially the repeater pedal. I really like messing with anything that's got a repeat on it. So got to hold like Fruity Loops, Audacity, and really had a lot of fun. So this next part for the background, I'm gonna go ahead and do kind of similar like I did on the last video with my scraper, but with a bit of red and yellow here. Sorry, you gotta see so up close to my face. Think about that more consciously on the next video. So I put my material over here or something. And y'all like the lighting better in here though? Kind of gets wild. Now a lot of artists wouldn't do it this way. You want to use something else so you can mix it more evenly and all this. But the way I'm doing it, it basically is gonna mix itself on the canvas when I use that spatula thingy. You got to be careful when you do this that you don't hold the scraper too far from the canvas, because then you'll just have blobs of paint sitting and drying for days and days. My first couple paintings were exactly that. Globs of paint. And I mean, I thought they were pretty. It took me a long time to make that many layers of paint on there, you know. But you just had to be, a little bit goes a long way. You want to press but not go crazy with it. I'm going right, trying to get as close to her as I can. Him, her, whatever. I think it looks more female. Uh, as I'm doing it, just like anything else, it's all about love. It's all about intent. So I think on scriptures that are like this, maybe think about what I would put on this, like wisdom is better than fine gold. Something to make it make sense, but sometimes they just don't make sense. I'm telling you, I got boxes of stuff that I did that it was just my subconscious talking to me, or God trying to tell me something that I wasn't willing to see any other way. But hopefully this brings some sort of inspiration to somebody that can go out here and put something beautiful out here. Because like I said, there's just crap, man. Crap. I went through this morning. I thought about recording it and putting it on my channel just to prove the point, but I did not because one of them card readers popped up in there. I'm not trying to get anybody involved in the witchcraft. That sounds ridiculous. So, but it was just one after another, just ungodly. A woman basically just on there talking pretty. That's it. Or, a guy being big honcho, whatever, not really giving God the glory. I don't know, it's just despicable. I mean, I don't know how I could never do stuff like that. It's always, even where it's like me singing or whatever, it's always all about God's glory, My message when you see me just walking in the grocery store, my message is, oh, that's God's kid. And I see this thing. I've been about this message long enough, I see this thing. They'll even say to themselves, well, that's God's kid. And some of them hate me, man. They hate me for what he's done in my life. They hate me for what the shine that I have, They want that. And I was just talking to God this morning, and he said, well, that sounds kind of crazy. So then they'll go after me, But like I was just being reminded by the Spirit this morning that he's the same God who, when they would distract you, he would knock them down. Would you rather that and then that person not be saved, not have a chance to be that person that you see when you look at them? I mean, because everybody's got a face, but you can really see who a person is if you look at them. You can see their blessings in them. Even your enemies, if you think about it. Some of my most passionate enemies they were my enemies because of other things. I had to be so gentle with them because I saw the calling on them. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't, even they say ridiculous things to me, I couldn't do anything. Because I know that calling, I know that, yeah. So this one kind of looks messy. I probably continuously just clean it up a little bit more. Might take me a couple runs to end up doing it. That other one ended up coming out pretty clean. I only did once one over and then put on the lettering. So hopefully this one will turn out as clean. So I'm just giving it a little bit of a blend here. But I'll probably go over with more solid colors here in a sec, because I don't really like how this is blending quite right. It's all about timing with painting. You gotta just jump to the next one, and if that one needs to dry, then if you mess with it, then you can mess it up. If you get it when it's too dry, then you can't do anything with it. It won't blend right. Like this one's not quite blending right, but I still like it. Well, this is a long one. I hope that y'all are watching and getting a blessing out of it, because this does seem to be a very long video. I hope it's not just me just talking off my head, because I'm not on here for all that. I'm just on here to just tell those people who are going through this real dark shit that there is a tomorrow. There is, for real. There's a better day. You get the things you're praying for. if they're good for you, especially. You get the ones that you know you really want, you really can handle. Most High listens to your prayers, you hear me? And especially when you're crying, especially when it's tears. When it's tears by the Spirit, that's, you watch those prayers. That's where it's at. Where it's at. Nowadays, man, I shake, and I tremble. Most High moves in my life, it changes everything. It changes everything. It changes everything. It changes people. It changes my circumstances. It changes my family. And it's all in His timing. But wasn't it worth it? At least on a couple things I could say that one for sure. It sure was worth it. So I'm just putting a little bit of green down here. Overlaying the black. It'll kind of give the appearance of depth. Oh my God. You see a little bit better now. And other things. Yeah. So just very easily. So I messed up a little there without that little bit of paintbrush stroke. It's just so easy to mess up. But it's also possible to clean it up. So yeah, my general message, be who you are, man, because you can't be replaced. I mean, especially if He found you like He found me in places that people can't go. People can't find you there. But God found you there. People couldn't hear me. But God heard me. And He answered. And He answered quickly. And I maybe didn't like the answer, at least in the situation I'm thinking of. And maybe not have been exactly what my heart would have thought was perfect. But in the end, He always has taken care of me. Especially in those dark moments, you know. So when the next dark moment come on me, I know who I am in Him. I don't have to worry, you know. I'm not trying to sign up for anybody else's circus. I'm not here for that. But I'm here to support and uplift the ones that He's moving through. And I really hope that y'all are too, because we can use it out here. Far beyond religion. So y'all read the Bible. Well, you see the echoes. I mean, you see in the Old Testament, it just keeps repeating itself. It's like over and over, this person does the same kind of sin. God does this. Or the devil moves in a jealous way in the story of Daniel, and then moves in the same way in the story when they're building up the temple the second time. It's like, you see how it all echoes and repeats itself. I wholeheartedly believe that God's bringing people together right now to build a thing that's never been before. Because really, we've not really had peace, man. We've really not had peace with Him. Maybe outside of the ones that were in Jerusalem when it was still in His glory. I don't think. I mean, momentary peace. I mean to say, like, peace for the night. I mean to say, bread every day, yes. But true, like kind of like what I experienced in Rainbow Gathering, where it's just not a judgment thing, just acceptance, you know? Like, I accept you because you're another human being. Not because you walk a certain way, not because you talk a certain way, but because you ring a certain way, because God's put it in you that you're called to me. I think He's going to use all these Bible scriptures. He's going to use all these Bible stories, and He's going to confirm them again. He's going to show us that is the true testament. And I mean to say, it's all going to repeat. Take whatever you want from that. In my life, it's repeated a lot. So on a micro level, I can see it repeating a lot. But in all of our lives, I've seen or at least our country, get a lot darker recently. Especially since Corona. And it might just be my age, you know. Everybody always thinks everybody always thinks the kids are messing up more than the kids were when we were young or whatever. But with all this technology and everything, when I was a kid, you never would have thought the mark of the beast was real. You never would have thought one day they would put microchips. We didn't have cell phones, It wasn't even that long ago. I'm not that old. I'm 34, but we still had paper food stamps. So, but in all that too, keep in mind there's scriptures that say that God's going to come. He's going to show up and he's going to pull us out of our Ezekiel 35:25. And he's going to pull us out of our habitations. And he's going to take us to the woods. He's going to take us even to the sanctuary around this holy mountain. So I think even as we see that playing out spiritually, we should know that we serve Almighty God. And when this test is done, we're going to see that play out physically. Just like it says, and they will be my children and I will be their God. We're going to see that. That's what I think this is all about. That's why the Lord is showing himself to the little ones. He's shown himself to the poor, the innocent. He's shown himself to us when we call out to him. He's shown himself like this now. And then a lot of us points us towards the Bible so that we can see the blessings we can see. So we won't worry when the thing goes south. We won't worry when it looks like our government's going to fall apart. Because really, he raises and lowers nations as he wills. He raises and lowers us as he wills. But that's why we'll just keep on listening and waiting for that call. And I prophesy it'll be like an Exodus. But I prophesy because I've seen the signs of these things. I don't just say things because I'm trying to be cool to you guys. But he's going to call people from all nations, everywhere around the world, to little cities. And I don't know any more than what I've been shown, but I know that God has the power to tell somebody to go and do just like he did back in the prophet days, that he has the power right now, as I've seen it, because I've seen the Holy Spirit say, watch out for this person gonna come along, try to give them a ride or something, put a seed in my heart, and then sure enough, there's that person. And the first thing out of their mouth this last time that it happened anyways was, God bless you, brother. I don't need no help, but God bless you. I didn't even, I was just like, hey man, where you going? I didn't bring up God at all, but he sure did. He was quick to. And that's happened four times in the last year. Actually, that people have been sent out of their way. Some of them with backpacks and some of them in trucks, People that have been sent out of their way to show me that it wasn't just me talking to myself. I love that God cares like that. That instead of going schizophrenic like a lot of those kids in the psych ward, I got careful. I want to walk inside of the blessing without the preachers telling me. And I always had a real issue with religion in general because a lot of people come in there and they're not really there for God. They're there for show. So I myself, I don't really mess with any kind of religion. If you're coming to me like the inspirer of this video, Miss Monica Stokes, if you're coming to me like you just came off the mountain, I'm gonna pay attention. But if you're not coming to me straight from a heart of service to God, then what are we really in this for? And I'm not gonna accept you. I'm not just gonna walk away. At least as far as spiritual teachers go, come on your own knowledge then. But if you're gonna come and inspire people as God tells you to, you're gonna do what God tells you to, that's awesome. That's what we're in this for. That's what we need a lot more of. Because it takes heart. It takes heart. And this painting seems to be taking forever. But I am grateful for this time to sit together with y'all. I'm grateful for this opportunity to put out a little bit more creativity into the world. I'm grateful for my works. Honestly, I'm grateful for my works and all the awesome ways that God's doing things right now that are new. Really, really pretty darn new to me. I'm trying to learn as quick as I can here. Although it sucks with change too, because there's always that, sometimes you have to part away from things I don't really want to part away from. In more than one way. There's things. This world is up. But other things I thought it would be harder to part with, and then when it comes down to it, just walk away from it. Easy. But I definitely got to watch myself. I don't pick up no more bad habits. Alright, so there's our first round. I don't really want to make this video crazy long because I'm guessing most people have already swiped away from this. But for those of you who are into painting or whatever, maybe this will provide you some sort of inspiration. You can go and make a pretty painting with a big old eyeball. Or if not that, then at least y'all can go and believe in yourselves, because God believes in you. He believes in you enough to bring you around. He believes in you enough to make it keep raining for you. Take note of the rain, even if it's just a little drizzle. Take note of the blessings, because what he's going to do with the little bit, he's going to do, if you can't handle a little bit, how's he going to give you a lot? So take note of the little blessings, do this thing right. I appreciate your motivation, family. I hope y'all having a good day. I'll probably put out a part 2 of this later on tonight. Peace.